When something happens on the floor, your job isn't over once you make the apprehension. What you do next, who you tell, what you write down, and how long you keep it, all of that is governed by law. This lesson breaks down the mandatory reporting requirements every loss prevention officer must know and apply every single day. Reporting requirements aren't just busy work. They exist because every incident you handle has legal consequences that can blow up if you mess up the paperwork. A solid case can fall apart, your organization faces liability, and you personally are exposed. The rules protect everyone: the company, the subject, and you. We're covering 4 connected areas here. First, mandatory thresholds, the specific conditions that trigger a legal obligation to report. Second, the law enforcement notification, when and how to bring in police. Third, the internal compliance reporting, what your organization requires you to document and escalate. And fourth, record retention, how long you must keep those records. And each one builds on the last. Let's start with mandatory thresholds. These are the legal lines that, once crossed, remove all discretion. You are required to report. No exceptions, no gray areas. Understanding exactly where those lines sit is the foundation for everything else in this lesson. Without that clarity, you can't proceed to law enforcement notification, internal compliance, or record retention. So let's be crystal clear on thresholds first.
4 conditions are the most common triggers for a mandatory report. A dollar value that exceeds the felony threshold in your jurisdiction. Any use of force or injury, regardless of how minor it appears. Signs of organized retail crime, which requires its own reporting track. And any weapon involvement, which escalates the entire incident immediately. Make sure you know your local thresholds by exact number, not just by concept.
Dollar thresholds are not universal. One state classifies theft over $500 as a felony. Another sets that threshold at $2,000 or more. That matters because the threshold decides if mandatory reporting applies and which agency gets the report. You need to know the specific number for your specific location, not a general estimate. Once the threshold is crossed, you face the next crucial question: when and how to notify law enforcement. This isn't a suggestion, it's mandatory. Timing is just as important as the decision to call. Mess up the timing or leave out key details, and you may compromise the entire prosecution. Beyond that, incomplete notification can expose your organization to serious legal liability and jeopardize future cases.
The sequence of steps matters. First, you need to secure the scene and the subject. Then, assess whether any mandatory threshold has been crossed. If it has, notify law enforcement immediately. Don't wait until your paperwork is done. And when you make that call, make sure to document it. Write down the exact time, the officer's name or badge number, and any case number they provide. Don't rely on memory. That record becomes part of your incident file. When law enforcement arrives or takes your call, give them 3 things clearly: the incident facts, who, what, where, when, the evidence you have secured, and your own authority, your name, role, and legal basis for the detention. Officers need to assess the situation quickly. A clear, organized briefing from you makes their job easier and your case stronger.
Once law enforcement is briefed, remember your internal obligations. Internal compliance reporting is the mechanism your employer uses to track incidents, manage liability, and demonstrate regulatory compliance. Skipping or delaying these reports exposes you to disciplinary and legal risks, even when external reporting is handled correctly. That's a risk you can't afford to ignore. Internal reporting works across 3 layers. First, the incident report. It's the ground-level document you fill out for every qualifying event. Next come escalation notifications, sent to your supervisor or compliance officer when the incident involves injury or exceeds a dollar threshold. Finally, compliance logs are the aggregate records your organization keeps for audits. Each layer targets a different audience and serves a distinct purpose. Strong reports use objective language, exact times, full names, and attach every piece of evidence. Weak reports say, the subject seemed suspicious, or around noon, or reference footage never attached.
Write what you observed, not what you concluded. Courts and auditors read these documents very carefully.
The final pillar is retention. Knowing what to report is only half the job. You also need to know how long to keep those records. Dispose of documents too early, and it can be treated as destruction of evidence, even if accidental. Courts and auditors don't care about intent. So retention policies aren't just paperwork. They protect you and your organization from serious legal consequences. Every record type has its own timeline, and missing those deadlines can cost you. Retention timelines differ based on the nature of the incident. For routine incidents, most jurisdictions require keeping reports for 1 to 3 years. CCTV footage has a shorter default window of 30 to 90 days. But the moment an incident occurs, that footage must be preserved immediately. For anything that becomes a legal matter, the rule is simple. Keep everything until the case is closed. Then add a buffer. When in doubt, retain longer. Spoliation is destroying evidence, and courts do not treat it lightly. If footage gets overwritten, a report gets deleted, or documents get shredded before the retention period ends, a judge can instruct a jury to assume the missing evidence was unfavorable to your organization. Build habits that prevent early disposal. Know your organization's retention policy by heart.
Here's the thing. Every incident runs through the same 5-step reporting workflow. First, assess whether mandatory thresholds are crossed. If they are, notify law enforcement immediately. Then, document the incident accurately and on time. Escalate internally to supervisors and compliance per policy, and retain everything. Secure records, preserve evidence for the required period. This sequence is mandatory, not flexible. Follow it every time, and you protect yourself, your organization, and the integrity of every case. 3 key takeaways from this session. Know your thresholds, the exact numbers, not just the idea. Always follow the reporting sequence in order, no shortcuts. And treat retention with the same weight as the first report. A missing document can carry the same legal risk as the incident itself. You have the framework now. Stick to it every time, and it becomes routine.
When something